Hey guys, this is a quote from Spike Lee. Black people were stripped of their identities when we were brought here, and it's been a quest since then to define who we are. In Senegal, a new statue was unveiled in the heart of Dakar. Sanjikan Andia, who died in 1986, the intellectual upset the version of African history, focusing on the contribution of Black Africa to civilization, especially Egyptian. His statue is now erected in front of the university and on the avenue that bears his name. This is something that positive minded people say who want to motivate themselves. I am the creator of my reality. I manifest when I turn my thoughts into actions. I am a force of nature. With the power of will, I am. Make no mistake, when the slave masters beat your ancestors into conforming to their religion, it was not about saving their souls for a God who loved them. It was about conquering their souls, their personalities, their identity, and even their deities to break them into obedient slaves. There was no love in that equation. Maya Angelou was an American poet, memoirist, and civil rights activist. She published 7 autobiographies, 3 books of essays, several books of poetry, and is credited with a list of plays, movies, and television shows spanning over 50 years. She received dozens of awards, more than 50 honorary degrees. She was raped at the age of 8. Her rapist was found guilty but spent only 1 day in jail. After he was released, he was murdered because of this. She became a mute for almost 5 years, believing her voice killed him. I killed a man because I told his name. And then I thought I would never speak again because my voice would kill anyone, says Maya Angelou. She was born with the name Marguerite Ann Johnson, but later changed it to Maya Angelou. John Roseman Johnson was a composer during the Harlem Renaissance, most notable as a composer of the hymn Lift Every Voice and Sing, which has come to be known as the Black National Anthem. His brother, the poet James Weldon Johnson, wrote the lyrics of the famous piece. It was first performed live by 500 African American students from the segregated Stanton School in Jacksonville, Florida in 1900. This is a 1888 drawing of a massacre by Queensland Native police at Skull Hole, Mistake Creek near Winton. A Norwegian scientist, Carl Lumholtz, drew this painting. He drew it after he was shown a large amount of native skulls of the native Aborigine tribe who had been shot by the police several years earlier. Native police, working under the command of the white officers in militia-style forces supported by colonial governments, almost wiping out the Aborigine tribe. And today it would be considered genocide. This is Judge Gabrielle Turnquist. She finished her bachelor's degree at the age of 14, started her postgraduate at the University of Law in London at the age of 16, passed her bar exam at 18 years old, and now she's a barrister in the UK, what we would call a judge here in America. Her name was Mary Rice Phelps. She was born on May the 1st, 1867. Her death was unknown. She learned to read and write by the time she was 4 years old, and she began school at 5. At 13, she was asked to take charge of a large school in Spartanburg County, South Carolina. With her parents' permission, she took the teacher's examination and received her teaching certificate, and she took charge of the school at 13 years old. After a year of teaching and running the school, Rice's parents sent her to further her own education. They took her to Benedict Institute in Columbia, South Carolina, to continue her own education. She entered Scotia Seminary in Concord, North Carolina in 1881 and graduated in 1885. After she received her certification as a teacher, she then served as principal of a public school in Glen Springs, South Carolina, for 3 years. In 1890, she was elected to be the assistant principal of Eddy School in Milledgeville, Georgia. But what a feat to be 13 years old and the principal of a school. Sidney Poitier once said, "I never had an occasion to question color. Therefore, I only saw myself as what I was, a human being." Did you guys know Medusa was black? And the story about her having snake hair, her head full of snakes, was just a misrepresentation. The Greeks just never seen dreadlocks before, and so they called it a head full of snakes. And she didn't really turn men into stone. They just was so awed by her beauty that they froze. They just stood there gazing at her beauty. So the Greeks, not understanding what they were witnessing, made a fable out of it. Here are 10 facts about Ethiopia. They do not follow the 12-month calendar like we follow in the West. They follow a 13-month calendar. Ethiopians also measure the hours of the day to a different schedule based on the logic that clock starts when the day starts. Ethiopia is the only African country that was never colonized by the West. Ethiopia is the birthplace of the Rastafarian movement. The first cup of coffee in Ethiopia, drank by a herder, led to the taking off of the coffee industry. Ethiopia is considered the Horn of Africa. It is rugged and it is a landlocked country split between the Great Rift Valley. It is a place of ancient culture with archaeological finds dating back more than 3 million years. Those are some of the fun facts about Ethiopia. If you like this video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button before leaving the page. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so you can be notified when I drop a new video. Thank you for watching.